Hello and welcome to this week's video for January the 18th, 2021, going through to Sunday the 24th. I hope this finds you well. If you saw my last video, the card for the weekend was laughter, so I hope that you found a bit of time to laugh and have some joy over the weekend. It's a really wonderful way to decompress, particularly if you're going through a tough time, as so many people still are. This week it feels that there's a theme. See if I can talk. There's a theme of cycles. That seems to be the message I'm getting right now. And becoming more aware of the cycle that you're in, the cycles that we're all in, whether it's seasons, whether it's the stages of the moon. We are part of nature. We talk about nature as if it's separate to us. Oh, I'm going into nature. Oh, I love nature. But we are nature. We're living creatures and we're all influenced by the cycles of nature around us. Whether it is the moon, women are particularly responsive to the moon cycles, whether it's the seasons. If you're in the northern hemisphere, it's midwinter now, so the energy is lower. We don't have as much light. So it is a time for more rest and drawing inwards, not a huge time for forging forward. So try and take a moment this week to honour the cycles going on for you and the rhythms in your body. And the more sensitive we are to our body's rhythms, the more we can work with the energies and are less likely to burn ourselves out or feel very overwhelmed. So that's the little message coming up at the moment. So I'm using a new pack today that I haven't used before in these videos, and it's the You Are Clairvoyant by Belinda Grace. It's a nice pack. If you are interested in your own sort of psychic ability, it's a nice pack to explore that. It's very straightforward, some lovely cards, some lovely messages. And yeah, it just can be something you can start to do for yourself, just maybe pulling out a card once a day or one for the week ahead, and then maybe trying it out on some friends. And yeah, it's a fun way to explore that side of your abilities if you feel a bit psychic. I think we're all psychic, really. It's just some of us are a bit more open to it than others, maybe. Right, so I've got a card that's the wrong way around at the moment, so I'm just going to turn that and flip that the right way around. So if you haven't seen my readings before, I do 3 cards, one for the start of the week, Monday, Tuesday, one for Wednesday, Thursday, going into Friday slightly, and then one for the end of Friday going into the weekend. So let's see what we have today. I'm just going to spread the cards onto the table and see where my hand is guided for Monday, Tuesday's card. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, that's a nice card. Appreciation. So it's got a lovely sort of granny, maybe with her grandson, having a moment, a cup of tea. There's a lot of love between them, a big beautiful sunflower, some mountains in the distance. Oh, and look, some nice roots going down. That's quite a nice message as well. So I think this card's got a few messages. I think appreciation, obviously gratitude. You hear about it a lot these days. It's a powerful tool, particularly for difficult times. If we can hold a space for the things that we're grateful for, and the things that we do have as opposed to the things we don't have or are missing, which for many is quite a lot at the moment. So I do a gratitude list before I go to bed every night. I just write maybe 3 to 5 things down that I'm grateful for. And I think it really helps me sleep, that I end on that sort of positive note. So I think Monday, Tuesday might be a nice way to start the week in trying to focus the mind on the things that you do have as opposed to the things you don't have. It just makes us feel better. I mean, there's a science around gratitude that shows when you think about things that make you feel good and the things that you have in your life that you love, your body responds chemically. You're more likely to feel serotonin in your brain, which makes you feel good. You're more likely to relax your nervous system. So gratitude is not just a kind of cheesy kind of, oh, I'm so grateful for this. It's a powerful tool for difficult times particularly, and sometimes it's hard to find the gratitude when you're really struggling, and that's okay. If you don't want to feel gratitude, that's okay, but just maybe having some awareness of just throughout the day, just noticing the things that we have. I mean, most of us have access to clean water, most of us have a roof over our head, so just sort of simple things that we can take for granted. You know, if you just take a moment to focus on that, that's a really powerful tool to lift your spirits. And it diverts you away from the things that are making you feel stressed or sad. That's not to say that they're not important either. We have to balance our approach to life, but it is all about the balance. And, you know, having that moment to be appreciative is a good way to balance out the tougher sides of life. Okay, so that's appreciation. Might be a little message to call your granny as well, I don't know. If you've got one. On the earth plane. Right, here we go. Wednesday and Thursday. Choice. That's an interesting one. We've got a lady, I think it's a lady, it could be a man. We're in a kind of red cloak, standing at what looks like two paths. And one looks a bit dark and gloomy, and the other one looks a bit lit up. So it might be around Wednesday, Thursday, you're called to choose on making a decision about something. And this card is here to support you making the right choice. And a nice thing to do is sometimes people find, you can find it hard to make a decision. I find a nice exercise is to close my eyes and imagine that I've got two choices, two outcomes. And for example, if it was taking a new job, you can imagine that you're taking the job or you're taking another job or not saying no. And just see which one feels more sparkly, more sort of lit up, more positive, because your inner guidance will always tell you. So yes, it might be that you need to think about some choices, but remember the answers are always inside. So this card is kind of reminding you that you've got the answers inside. Not that you could still ask a friend for some support or some guidance, but ultimately there is a path ahead of you that is there to serve you. It also could be a little message about choosing positive thoughts again. This idea that it's at the moment, I think it's Blue Monday today over in England. I don't know if you have that in parts of the world that you might be listening from, but it's supposed to be the most depressive day of the whole year. And obviously we've got some serious issues around this day that we wouldn't have normally if you're still in some sort of lockdown situation. So again, it's that sense to choose things that make you feel good, choose thoughts that make you feel good, choose to contact people that make you feel good. Be very aware of your vibration right now. This is a time to really work on lifting that vibration, lifting above the difficult times that so many are experiencing, and remembering there is a higher way of thinking and there is a sense of creating dreams and visions to come. So choice is your middle card for the week. And finally, we have our card for the weekend. I'm always interested in this one. Always, obviously all the cards are interesting, but it's a nice sort of one to keep us, for the end of the week, keep us going. Let's see, here we go. Oh, wisdom. There we go. What have we got here? We've got a young lassie climbing a pyramid by all accounts with some very ancient sort of symbols on the side. So wisdom, I was talking to my husband about this last night. It's very easy to not be in touch with your wisdom, particularly at the moment when there's so many different voices, so much noise around, and we can get overloaded with information, particularly if you read the news or watch the news. So I think this card is sort of saying that take some time maybe to step out of that if you have found yourself being kind of caught up in other people's opinions. And the weekend's a nice time for some reflection, for some inner journeying, whether it's meditation or some journaling, and knowing that there is always the answers within us, and more than ever tuning into our own instincts, which kind of get lost sometimes by life on the outside. So it's a card of being quiet, being still, trusting your instincts, trusting your intuition, and maybe just zoning out some of the noise that we are subject to sometimes in modern life. So it's kind of a peaceful card there. Also might be a card of thinking about the future and somewhere you might want to visit. I've been sort of tuning into Italy at the moment, like, at some point I wouldn't mind going over there. So, it's a little card of dreaming as well. It's important to be with where we are and be present, but that's not to say that we can't have some little dreams for the future and things that give us that sense of hope and something to reach for. So there we go, that's your card for the end of the week. Take care of your lovely selves. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you next week for the next reading.